Oh, he's busy.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
busy.
I think, since Mother's Day, it's,
Oh, yeah, right.
everybody's trying to.
All right. We're back, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Yeah, sorry, last week I missed out. I wasn't feeling well. My body really needed the rest. How many chapters you guys do last week?
2.
2? Okay.
We did 8.
So, yeah, I did 7, right? So we did, you guys did 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you didn't do that yesterday.
Yeah,
Not
I
last
did.
time.
Okay, well, we'll start with 10 then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. And you caught it
You
myself.
like to return to 8 and 9?
But you guys already did that before, right?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Jason?
Jason,
Let's see.
do you care? Well, in that case, let's do 8 then. Anybody want to start with a prayer? No, not me.
My energy.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we get to spend it with each other, and reading your words. Please let us understand your words more and more as we go through it. That way we can be better representatives of you. Thank you for just everyone who's here, and as well as Isaiah and JC who's not here today. Please just let us remember everything that you're trying to teach us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 And also, let's wish Irene a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You want to start?
So with
What do you want?
7 and 8, we finished the Sermon on the Mount, right?
Yeah,
Oh, with 6 and 7.
yeah, we did 6, 7,
Yeah,
finish
5,
the Sermon
6,
on the
7,
Mount.
and
Okay.
then
And we
Chapter
did
8.
Okay.
come down.
I'll start to 13.
Okay.
Yeah. 8. Jesus cleanses the leper. When he has come down from the mountain, a great multitude followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately the leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way. Shew yourself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded, for testimony unto them. 5. Jesus healed centurion's servant. And when Jesus was entered into the Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home with sick and palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus said unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shalt come under my roof, but speak only the words only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldier under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. And when Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said unto them that aloud, Verily I say unto you, I have found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, in the kingdom of heaven. The children of the kingdom of heaven shall pass away into outer darkness, there shall be weeping, gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, and so I have done it to thee. The servant was healed into the self-same hour. All right. Let's go back. When Jesus came down from the mountain, a great multitude followed him. Behold, came a leper worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand, touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. Immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said to him, See, tell no man, but go thy way. Show yourself to the priest and offer him the gift Moses commanded for a testimony unto him. What gift is he talking about?
So back in like what Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, you know, those were like the laws,
Yeah.
Mosaic laws and stuff, and so like when it came to leprosy and stuff like that, they would you know, after they thought they were clean, they go to the priest to kind of have them verify that they're clean, and if they were clean, then they would offer like, you know, like a Thanksgiving type of sacrifice offering to the Lord and stuff. So that's basically what that part is kind of saying.
Okay.
You know, go to the priest, make, you know, to show them that you're clean. And that way he could, you know, announce to everybody.
Oh my laptop. Offer the gift that Moses commanded.
Yeah, I can probably look up which one it was. Leviticus 14:4. Leviticus 14:4. Alright.
大麻风在那个时候是很不洁净的，不可以碰它的。但是耶稣用手去摸它，是因为爱它，他不嫌弃它是大麻风，因为大麻风不会传染的，而且这些大麻风的人要离开村子，离开人群，他们单独到野外去住。对，所以耶稣摸它是因为耶稣爱它，没有嫌弃它。
Okay.
Yeah, so starting from Leviticus 14, verse 3, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds, alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of these birds be killed in an earthen vessel, and so forth. So like, yeah, just sacrificing, you know, the birds as a thank offering.
Okay.
So that's them. And Deuteronomy 24:8 probably says the same thing.
Yeah, look at this. That's what leprosy is.
Yeah, like Hansen's disease, I think it's called now, or labeled as now.
Hansen's disease, yeah, you're right. In fact, okay, it's a bacteria. Leprosy spread between people, although extensive contact is necessary. 95% of people in contact with leprosy does not develop this disease. Leprosy is curable through multi-drug therapy. It's not highly contagious. Some interesting pictures in Wikipedia. So what would Jesus tell him to, like, don't tell no man, but show yourself to the priest?
Kind of like, I guess, like what he was doing, like in John, you know, like when he would perform miracles, like, you know, don't tell people, you know, I guess, like, you know, like I said, one part was,
But
because, like, you know, his time had not yet come, it wouldn't be, like, you know, word would get around, and which it did, and would cause a lot of the, you know, as we see, like the Sadducees, the Sanhedrin Council, which was the scribes,
But
elders,
isn't
and all
he
that.
with a bunch of people right now? See, 8:1. When he came down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a little obscure in that regard, but maybe like all those people who were with him, also like what I was just telling you about, what I was reading from Mark, where I was like, you know, he wanted people to come to him to learn of, like, you know, this gospel, as opposed to just coming to him for miracles and then just kind of forgetting about where these miracles came from and stuff like that, you know. They just like, oh yeah.
I mean, if he can perform miracles like these, why not utilize that as a thing to, like, spread his message, right? It's kind of like one of those timeshare things. You know, I don't know if you get those, but like they'll send out to you in the mail or call you. It's like, hey, would you like a, you know, free vacation, free like free dinner?
I think in a way he kind of was.
right. It's
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
If it's like, hey, come over here, and of course you know there's a time period. You gotta sit through it, listen to their spiel. But, why not say, hey, this guy does miracle and he comes to miracle, and then he gets to spread his message.
Chapter 20, chapter 16, 20 verse. Chapter 16. Here I said. Chapter Matthew 16, chapter 16, verse 20.
Same thing.
He said, Jesus, you can you read it?
Yeah, it says, then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ.
Yeah.
So in that part right there, it kind of leads to that part where like his time hadn't come yet and stuff like that. Because like just waiting for everything else.
So
to kinda
Jesus doesn't want people to fall, and they just want us to listen to his message.
Well, that's what I was getting at in Mark and stuff.
That's your personal interpretation.
No, it's also in the notes as well. But like because he even there was I was looking for it. I can't find it right now. But he was even praying, trying to think like should I continue this way or with doing all these miracles, or should I just go along teaching? And then he came to the conclusion that he should be teaching.
Okay.
And wanted to focus more on that as opposed to focusing on performing miracles for people, doing the healings and stuff.
因为主耶稣他给他的门徒，他的门徒不知道他是弥赛亚，他们不认识，所以呢，耶稣需要他们先搞清楚、弄懂耶稣是弥赛亚的真正的意义。那么当时普遍流行在犹太人圈子里面，他们那个国家的，就是那个弥赛亚的观念，他们对弥赛亚的这个观念是错的。他们想要的弥赛亚是要在这个世界上建立一个军事的强大的国家，而不是像耶稣这样那么苦哈哈的，什么人都不是，又是个木匠的儿子，又不知道哪里来的。所以呢，门徒对耶稣的认识不充分，他们不完全认识耶稣，不完全知道他是弥赛亚，只知道他会行神迹奇事。那么当时连他的大门徒彼得，就是在他16章16节这里有讲到的，彼得 verse 16 Can you read it? Peter answered, You are 16.
16.
Yeah, 16. Peter said,
You are the Christ. Yeah, I believe that. Because that's when Jesus asked him, who do
Yeah.
you think I am? Because
你是永生神的儿子。
he was asking
Peter.
Did you memorize that?
No, it's just I
Chapter-
not necessarily memorized, but I remember what happened.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because it started off with like
16.
16 says, and Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the
Yeah.
Son of the living God.
Yeah,
Because like at 13 it starts when Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and some Jeremiah, or one of the other prophets. And then he said unto the disciples, but whom say ye that I am? And that's when Peter confessed that thou art the Christ, the Son.
even Peter said, You are Christ. But Peter can accept Jesus will die well.
Yeah, so
die
a lot of the
Cross.
yeah.
他不能够接受耶稣受苦和受死的事情，他只觉得应该耶稣在这个国家应该建立一个很强大的军事国家，带着千兵万马来赶走那些
Romans.
罗马控制他的这些帝国，所以耶稣叫他们不要去讲，因为连他自己的门徒都不认识他，所以他才叫他们反复叫他们。第8章、第16章反复跟他们说，因为他们还不认识。可 because they not really understand that Jesus is Messiah.
Of course not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they think the Messiah is very powerful,
Yeah.
a lot of army,
Yeah.
and
They were believing that
Yeah.
the true Messiah would come in and overthrow Rome because they were oppressing the Israel.
I know they believe that,
Mhm.
but you finished the whole Bible recently, right? Why would they think that? Was there a prophecy in the Old Testament that says when the Messiah come, this
Yeah,
figure?
but that was I guess there was prophecy of that, but that was referring to the second coming, which Isaiah kind of touched on a few times.
Okay, so this is the first.
This is the first coming, yeah.
Was there anything in the Old Testament says is a first and a second?
second is not yet. Maybe
Yeah,
very
they
fast
did
it will.
refer to it, but it was kind of obscure, like in certain.
So it's
certain
not so
prophecies.
clear.
Yeah,
So I would imagine most of the Jews during that time
Mhm.
thinks there's only one coming.
There was
Yes.
mainly all the prophecies was always relating to one coming. I mean, at least speaking of one, not. But then there was a few that did mention that there was going to be two, but it wasn't stated as much. So every time they talk about the coming Messiah, most people thought of the final, but not some of the first. Like they thought that
There's
the
only
first,
two, right?
Yeah, they thought the first and two would be just one. But
There's no third, right?
at least not.
So
as
why would there be two?
One was to come to kind of like show who he is, the humble servant, which was the first coming. The second one, I guess, is like kind of like at the end times.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when the millennial kingdom will begin.
Does it say all that in the Old Testament? I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand
It
what.
says that.
Okay.
It says that, especially towards like the end of the Old Testament, because those were the book of the prophets, and Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah spoke a lot of. Daniel spoke a lot about it as well, and then when we start getting into Acts and Romans, Paul will start kind of touching up on that as well.
Okay. We'll get there
Yeah,
eventually.
Daniel's pretty crazy.
Do you have a favorite so far in the Old Testament?
I don't know. It's like every time I kept reading a new book, like, oh, this is my favorite. Then I read another one, it's like, oh, so it's just kind of hard. Yeah.
All right. Jesus heals centurion servants. 5. When Jesus was entering into Capernaum, he came into a centurion, beseeching him. Centurion is a Roman soldier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And saying, Lord, my servant lies home sick of palsy. Palsy? Cerebral palsy?
No, I guess it's like at that time they used the word palsy for like paralyzed
Oh, paralyzed?
Yeah.
Like just sick, bedridden?
or something like that. Yeah, sick of the palsy. What is it actually? How is it stated in this one? Yeah, just paralyzed.
All right, grievously tormented. Just I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy. Why would the centurion say that? Like he already, right? Centurions are Romans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most Romans are not Jewish.
Yeah, they're
Right.
I mean, some Jews had
Right.
Paul actually was a
Yeah,
Roman
he was
citizen.
a Roman citizen.
Yeah. But one of the things, like as a true like Gentile and stuff like that, one of the Old Testament law was like you're not supposed to go into the house of Gentiles and blah 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 blah. But then there's also slightly hidden prophecies of like how God would make all men, all nations come together, so that there's but Israel was his chosen
Why would a centurion
children.
say to Jesus, maybe he said, okay, well, this guy's doing miracles, doing a lot of healings,
I think
so
it's
maybe
more,
he can help me out.
I think it was more for reverence and stuff,
Okay.
like he believed, and he felt like he was not worthy, just out of reverence. But it's kind of interesting.
It does seem kind of funny to me,
Yeah.
right? Centurion has just said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldst come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be. Oh, so he's telling Jesus what to do. He's like, oh, no, don't come. Just say the word.
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, that kind of shows his faith in him, his power that he could even do this. You know, just say the word. You know.
Yeah, I could see like a hit. I can't even imagine like a Hittite saying this, but it's hard for me to imagine the Roman centurion would be saying this to Jesus. Yeah. 9. For I am men under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, I am a man under authority. Does that just mean I am an authoritative figure?
Yeah.
Okay. Under authority. That reads funny. Yeah, like you're under.
I mean, in a sense, it could also mean that as well because, like, you know, centurion was kind of like the equivalent of, I guess, today's like sergeant major. So it's like he's still up there, but he's still under authority of like a general too. So.
But you don't usually, at least modern English, you don't
Yeah.
say that in order to say, hey, I have power, right?
But I think he was likening it to like what he believed Jesus was under authority from God. You know.
You say, okay, I have soldiers under me. See, let go and he goes, into another coming comes, into my servant do this and do that. Yeah, so he's saying like, I'm a powerful, influential man. When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, verily I say to you, I have not found so great faith. No, not in Israel. What?
Like kind of like what we're talking about with the centurion saying like just speak the word and I know it will be healed. You have the power, like he had that much faith in him, in his power and stuff like that. And as you can see, most of the Jews, especially like of the Sanhedrin Council, they were rejecting him and stuff like that. It's like so that's what I guess that was more reference to, is that this guy believes more than these guys who are like scholars of the scriptures and stuff like that.
When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed. Said to them that followed. Who's he talking to?
I guess probably his disciples.
Okay, so there's other people with him right now. Really, I sent to you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. So he's complimenting the centurion. Okay.
And at the same time, maybe some of the Sadducees, the Pharisees were following too, just to see what spying on him, seeing what he was doing, and because they're always trying to like find ways to like
And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into darkness. They shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Oh man, that's harsh. Who's he talking about? The children of the kingdom.
Children of the kingdom are the Israelites, because they were like the chosen, God's chosen children.
Okay, so 11 says, many will come from east and west. So it's like people will come all over the world and sit down with
the Gentiles,
with prophets in the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, because especially at that time, like the Pharisees, Sadducees, and all of them, they felt like they were like privileged and stuff like that. That only they would be, sitting in heaven because they were chosen. And, like they were privileged. But Jesus was saying like everybody's going to be able to come, at least those who believe. And you guys who don't believe, you're going to be kicked out of the kingdom.
And Jesus said to the centurion, go thy way as thou hast believed, so be done to thee. So it's self-same. Or self-same.
Huh? Self-same day?
Yeah,
Self-same
self-same
hour.
hour.
Yeah, it's probably like that.
The same.
Yeah. There's no.
Never heard of that word, self-same.
Yeah. I guess it's an old
Okay.
English word.
So far he cured a leper and he healed a centurion's servant from palsy. Because the centurion really believed him. All right. 14 to 22. Mike?
When Jesus was coming to Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Now when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath nowhere to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead.
14. Jesus came to Peter's house. He saw his wife's mother lay sick of a fever. Jesus touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. Okay. She's like lying there, like, oh, I'm sick. And then Jesus, like, healed. She jumps up. It's like, start ministering.
It's funny. It's like, no, you're not sick anymore. You need to feed us.
And when the even was come, I'm assuming that's evening.
Yeah.
They brought unto him many that were possessed with the devil, and he cast out the spirit with his words, and healed all that were sick. Okay, so he healed a bunch of people. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Oh.
That was from Isaiah 53:4.
He didn't exactly take it on, he just healed them.
Well, he takes it on, like, in the future, at this point, by dying on the cross for us.
Okay. What it takes to be disciple, Matthew 18. Now that Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandments to depart unto the other side. What does that mean? Jesus saw great multitudes about him.
I guess another big crowd was trying to form.
Okay.
Yeah.
He gave commandments to depart unto the other side.
The other side of the Sea of Galilee.
Okay. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee wheresoever thou goest. Jesus said, the foxes have holes, the birds have air, have nests, and the Son of Man hath not where he laid his head. Another disciple said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. What? Okay, 20, 21, 22 I don't get. So 19, someone was like, hey, let me follow you, right? And what does Jesus say to him?
He's basically saying, like, it's going to be a difficult, tough path. Basically the cost of discipleship is going to be one that costs a lot, because he doesn't even have a place really. He's saying, he doesn't have a place to lay his head. It's like, this is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the Son of Man, which is himself.
Yeah, another title for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard that.
I guess it's the first time in Matthew, but it says it a lot in Mark. It says it a lot in Daniel.
Okay.
When they're
The
prophesying.
Son of Man. It just the title, just the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some have no Lord. And another disciple said to him, Lord, suffer me go first and bury my father. What?
I guess there's some theories that even like probably his father was not yet dead, so he wanted to wait and stuff like that. And even if he was dead, usually the tradition was like, you bury him and like you kind of earn mourning for a year, and after you bury him, then you go back, kind of what we're talking about in John during the tombs. They come back and get the bones and then bury him or put him somewhere else and stuff like that.
So he's saying, let me go bury my father first, and then I want to follow you?
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
And Jesus says, follow me and let the dead bury me. What?
Yeah, it was just.
What is it? Let the dead? How can the dead bury the dead?
So I guess it's like the dead in spirit, because he wasn't like
What?
Irene was kind of talking about it as well last week, where like he wasn't sincere about following him because he was trying to find an excuse to like.
Not bury his own father?
No, well, I guess it's just like again, if the theory was that he was not yet dead and stuff like that, but I guess like. What I guess the Lord was saying is like like I'm more important when preaching this stuff, and then it's interesting.
Yeah, doesn't sound very Jesus-ish, right? Like, I want to follow you, please, but hey, let me go just put my father in the ground. He's like, nah, let him be. Let the dead bury the dead.
Yeah.
You're talking about the 21 and 22?
22.
22, yeah.
21, 22, yeah.
Oh, yes. 21 and 22. Yes. 这个问题在什么呢？这个人的父亲可能还活着，还很健康。那么，按照犹太人对父母的这个孝敬的程度是蛮厉害的，他们非常孝敬父母的。那么，而且他们摩西的10条诫命里面就有一条是孝敬父母，所以犹太人是遵守这个10诫，孝敬父母。那么，他们需要照顾老年的父母，并且他们死了以后要安葬他们，这是他们的规矩法律。那么这个人呢，很明显，他对耶稣，他要放下所有的一切，跟随耶稣呢，这个人呢，是有点不是完全愿意跟随耶稣。
那
所以
你怎么知道？
对，他就讲好，有人解释说，那个人是用让我回去，等我爸爸就是去世，埋葬他，我再来跟随你。
对，
这个意思是用来推卸这个责任，就是不愿意跟随耶稣，因为他的爸爸还活着，可能很多年，10年、20年以后才去世，所以呢，他说的要跟随耶稣呢，只是一个托词，你知道吗？没有那么快了。
Okay, it doesn't say that in here.
Yeah. 怎么解释呢？这个人对委身耶稣、跟随耶稣呢，其实他并没有很大的诚意，你知道吗？他的心不是很。
Are you saying this guy, he's not very sincere?
Yeah.
因为父亲还在，可能还要活10几20年。那么他这样一说呢，因为这是个律法嘛。
If even first of all, but it doesn't say that. We're just assuming. We're just trying to find explanation. But even if that was true, okay, if he's lazy, if he's insincere, then why would Jesus want this guy to follow him?
因为你有知道，follow Jesus Christ is very 很苦啊 ，very suffer. No house, no money.
Where are you guys at?
21, 22, chapter 8.
Chapter 8. 呀，所以那个时候他们就知道跟随耶稣是蛮苦的，可能他住在父母那里一起有房子。你像彼得、约翰他们都是打鱼的，不打鱼了就是没有收入，不工作了。那所以他们走到一个地方，有没有吃的现在还不知道，对不对？所以他们每天跟随耶稣呢，是要付代价的，就像我们现在一样啊。我当时要辞掉工作去学校读书，也是一个很大的挣扎。很多年我一直其实很早就呼召我要出来，但那时候班很小。我的一个神学院的院长老牧师跟我讲，他说你要出来没有错，神有呼召你，但是你先要顾到你这么小的一个小孩。所以我就没有动，一直等到他长大我才去。所以那去的时候我就什么都没有，就没有工作，就没有收入嘛。所以走这条路是要付代价的，那很多人就是不太愿意，不愿意。
Are you saying there's a price to be paid if you want to follow Jesus?
Yeah, because it's titled like "What It Takes to Be a Disciple."
Yeah.
And like if we think about, this guy giving excuses, it's kind of like, dude, excuses, that's basically what it is.
但是呢，就是没有看到，现在地上的苦跟随耶稣大概就几10年罢了。那将来死了以后， 那个神的赏赐，那个荣耀，那是永永远远的。所以我们要看得远一点，现在的苦只是暂时的。When we follow Jesus Christ, we have a suffer. No money, no work, no
Let's see what
job.
the internet has to say about
What they say?
8:22.
What did they say?
Jesus' words here in other parts of the New Testament can sound harsh to modern ears. That's at least partly due to misconception Jesus was soft, passive, and weak. Well, we do kind of see him that way. This comment likely seems harsh to those hearing for the first time as well. A man requested that Jesus allow him to go and bury his father before following Jesus. Jesus now commanded him to follow him, apparently meaning immediately. He tells the man to leave the dead, bury his own dead. Two things are important to understand. First, the man likely wasn't asking simply to go to his father's funeral and come back a few days later. It's possible that his father not yet even dead. I already mentioned that. Commentators also suggest may have been planning to follow custom of the day to rebury a loved one's bones a year after his death. This is thought to be a responsibility of a son, especially a firstborn son. It fell under the traditional obligations associated with honoring one's father and mother. The man had been asking Jesus to give up a year's delay before returning to follow him. No matter what, his real statement is, I will come when I've done some other things first. The second thing to understand is that Jesus absolutely asked those who follow him to place a greater commitment on their love and loyalty to him than anyone else, including parents, spouses, children. Jesus tells the man to let spirituality dead bury those who are physically dead. In other words, only those who follow Christ are on the road to true life. Matthew 7:13-14. No human relationship or other obligation can provide good enough reason to leave the world behind. As with his response described, Matthew 8:19-20, Jesus remarked meant to challenge assumptions, forcing someone to confront their own sincerity. If this man is not willing to follow Jesus until it's socially convenient, he's not really willing to follow at all. Kind of like it's a combination of what you said and what I really said. And it's not satisfying to me. Yeah.
It's
Because I was hoping that they're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But I think this for Christians, this is a hard part to come across, to try to explain away. And if it says, if we're based on like whatever this says, what I just read came from BibleReference.com. Okay? It's the first one on Google, so I'm not like so this is like, if what the message really is to abandon everything, your parents, your kids, and
like traditions and customs and like
just like all that is.
well, because kind of like it goes back to that like that thing that I was talking about is like we made up all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like customs and all this, like isn't it all just kind of like made up by people and it's just carried down and it's like you know what I mean?
But we are creatures of habits, so
Yeah.
You can of course like a relationship of that to you, to your parents, your mother, your father, your brother, and your kids. Those are just made up labels too, but in some ways, over time it matters,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody kind of agrees it matters. That's why like when you get married, when you have a wife, there's laws protecting. It's like, oh, you can't legally say something against your husband or your wife. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's
And laws keep
churches.
changing all the time too, so it's just like whatever we just want to make up. Because so
Exactly.
part of me just feels like, dude, all this stuff is just made up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like made up, taught, and just like carried on through all the
Yeah,
generations.
And, whatever the burial tradition they were referring to, those are of course all made up too.
Yeah, it's
You
kind of
don't
like
really need to bury anyone. If someone's dead,
yeah, like
you can let it rot and let the freaking coyotes.
dude,
get
I
at
saw
it.
this. I was watching this thing on JFK, and they're talking about like JFK, the way he was buried. They didn't want to like really bury him like that. There's this book about the funeral home industry and how it's just like so corrupt and just all about making money, and like they create all these like ceremonies and all this stuff just to make money, you know. So it's all kind of like made up in a sense, you know. It's just stuff that we make up for ourselves, you know. So I don't know, but I think ultimately Jesus is just like, dude, I'm the most important, you know.
All right, well, let's see how
I
consistent.
kind of feel like
he is.
everything else is just made up. Like your laptop, like, dude, it's not that important. You know what I mean? Like we give value to all these things, and we just think that this is, you know, important.
All right, well, let's see how. I'm curious to see how consistent he is with this message as we read more of this. I am number one, or my message is more important than anything else, including your cultures, including traditions, including your obligations and responsibilities.
That's right,
to your
huh?
family.
Because then he also pushes his own things. It's like prayer, be nice to each other. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like John. The end, you know, that part really stuck with me. Just like, as he's about to leave and get persecuted, he's like, "Oh, be nice, love your people, love your brothers, like they love me, love your neighbors." Like, oh, that's nice, you know. But then you read parts of life that say, "Oh, that's not so nice." You know, it's like abandon everything and come follow me. All right, let's keep going. You want to take us home? 23 to 34, Jason?
23 to what?
34.
23 to 34.
23 to 34. Page 761.
Jesus calms the sea, this is what I read last time. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, Why ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? 28, Jesus cures the two demonics. And when he was, do you guys want to talk about, why don't we just read like each
Sure.
section,
Yeah,
so kind of like stay on topic.
okay. So 23. Now going to show, I'm assuming they're going across Galilee again.
Yeah.
His last disciple followed him, and behold, there arose great tempest in the sea, and so much the ship was covered with waves, and he was asleep. The disciple arose, Save us, we perish. Said to him, Why are you fearing? I've been called that so many times in my life.
Why are you fearful of me?
And he arose and rebuked the wind and we marveled, saying, Oh, what a man is he? Shouldn't his followers kind of just know by now that he does crazy things, miracles, and not be surprised?
I think it's because they're like in the time of finding out. Like we've kind of like heard about all of this like
In John already.
since like, you know, at least probably since we're kids, right? But this is like when it's actually going on. So I don't think everybody really knows his
Well,
full.
He's since Matthew
When they're
he's
living
done,
it.
Because this section, this chapter 8 is kind of like the beginning of his
Miracles?
at least
Okay.
in Matthew.
Yeah, I think like people were still just finding out, you know,
It's like
this is like live.
there's a part of me that knows I shouldn't read everything literally,
Hmm.
but there are many Christians out there that does read the Bible literally. So, you know, I can't help but try to like read things.
Yeah, how can
literally.
you not read it literally, right?
Yeah. So if I was to read it literally, therefore, you know, it's like I have all these questions. Like they shouldn't be surprised. The 27 men marveled. What a manner this man is. Even the winds and sea obey. They should be at least like, good job. You did your thing, Jesus. Right?
I mean, yeah, maybe
We
that-
expected this much out of you by now.
but yeah, they should have expected that. But I guess like one of the things perhaps is that like he was just always doing healings of
Right.
just people and stuff like that, and not
but
necessarily
it makes
anything
more
with nature.
sense.
But I mean, yeah, you should be able to. If he can
Right.
do that, he should be able to do anything.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like you've already done all these things. What you do don't impress us anymore, Jesus. Yeah, but imagine if this was written as literature, right? And Arthur is trying to illustrate points like, look at how amazing, look at how wonderful Jesus is, look at how powerful he is, and look at how all the people, his followers, also thinks he's awesome. That makes more sense to me. It's like, okay, he's trying to illustrate a point, but if we were to read it later, it's like, that doesn't make sense. But if you read it like,
But then also kind of like what Irene brought up. Remember in chapter 16, it's like, so who do you think I am? So then at that point, which is chapter 16, remember how he asked Peter, who do you think I am and stuff like that? Oh, I know you're Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. So I guess 7 to 8 more chapters from now, then they start, and they still didn't understand that he would die and resurrect even at that point. You know what I mean? So yeah, we haven't got to the 16 yet. So yeah, at this point it's still kind of preliminary, I guess.
all right,
I think about this verse. Every person, individual, 就是每一个个人we live this world like we have a small boat， 就是我们每一个人好像都是在开自己一条小船，每一个人都有自己一条小船，行走在整个你人生的路上。就好像我们自己，你我他，我们个人都有一条小船，在我们人生的这条大海里面，我们在航行，对不对？那你在这一生当中，你一定会遇到非常多的风暴，right？ 你人生很多很多的经历，比方讲，我突然失去了人，突然我以前的丈夫有了外遇，要跟我离婚，突然我得了癌症，有很多很多不幸的事情。但是我知道我的这条船上有耶稣，都过得去。
I know。
你知道吗？所以我这么多年，我已经70多岁了，这么多年我一直这样，我一直这样走过来，我就知道，我信耶稣已经40多年了，我就知道耶稣在我这条船上，就好像他的门徒讲：“哇，救我们！我们快要丧命了，我们快要死了，你还在睡觉。”耶稣讲，他就斥责了你们这个小性胆小的人，这么胆小，我在这条船上，你们怕什么？所以他就斥责那个风和浪，整个平息。那你想想，我们的神是创造宇宙万物的这个神，风浪都听他的，那我这一点小事，他会不管吗？对不对？所以还有什么可怕的？没有什么可怕的，都过得去，因为我们有神。这世界以后越来的日子会越来越难过，因为耶稣来之前，那个启示录里面有讲，有更大的灾难，一共有7年，前3年半，后3年半。现在我们还没有到那个大灾难，有瘟疫，今后有大地震，有山洪爆发，等等，有战争，现在已经在打仗了，会不会打到美国？会打到台湾？他们一介入，那整个世界大战就要爆发了。所以，将来我们看到的是饥饿、瘟疫、战争，很多很多。信耶稣有一个好处，不怕。而且圣经上有应许，到时候我们这些基督徒，他会保护起来，他会带我们走。直接升天，没有死，没有经过坟墓，我们直接升。
Rapture。我知道。
所以你可以跟他们翻译一点点吗？我没有讲很多。
What Irene is saying is that throughout your life, it's like a metaphor for you being on a boat. You know, there's going to be rocky, difficult moments. Like the time she lost Ben, like the time she got a divorce. But she has no fear because within her metaphorical boat, she knows Jesus is there. And Jesus will be there to protect his followers, his children. And in Revelations, when the rapture comes, you know the rest.
So don't worry about it. We are Christian. Our Father is a Heavenly Father, Jehovah. He can pretend, he can help us because he very, very loves us. Don't worry about everything. Everything will pass.
Okay. Take us home, Jason. 28 to 34.
Jesus cures 2 demonics, and when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him 2 possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Question mark. And there was a good way off from them, and an herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were out, and when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished into the waters. And they that kept them fled and went their way into the city, and told everything. And that was befallen to the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus, and they saw him. They besought him, and he would depart out of their coasts. That's so weird the way.
Yeah, it's one weird
Right.
words.
That
And they-
definitely requires.
And they that kept them fled, and went their ways in the city, and told everything. And was
Jesus
befallen to
cures
the possessed of the devils.
Demonics were demonics?
Demoniacs, whatever.
I think just 2 possessed people.
My topic of that just says healing of devil possessed men.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess that's how.
And when
That
he
was
was
one
come
of
to
the
the other side of the country,
Demonics. A person believed to be possessed by evil spirit. And when you come to the other side in the country of Gergesenes.
Gergesenes.
Where is that? Is that near Galilee somewhere?
Well, I mean, so this follows, right? They're in the boat. It's
Yeah.
all crazy. He calms it, and then when they land, they see 2 possessed guys, right?
Gergesa.
Okay, cool.
They were kind of up in the. I think I can't remember. I think maybe they came from Capernaum or Bethsaida, and they went to Gergesenes.
Don't you want to just travel to Israel and like
Kinda.
go see all these
I know
sites?
it's like all hectic out there, so I don't know. Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
I'm sure. Maybe one of these days we can scramble some money, make a trip out of it. Okay, they met him 2 possessed with the devil, coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no man might pass away. So I'm picturing like these two men, they're possessed, right? And they're just like,
Yeah.
if somebody comes by, they just like, ah!
Yeah, just causing a ruckus, like attacking them or something, you know. Almost like what you would probably see like on the streets of like, you know.
Skid Row, right? It's like when you go, there's a lot of possessed fuckers down there,
Yeah.
screaming at nothing, letting no one pass.
Yeah.
And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou son of David? They recognize him?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the interesting part. It's like, you know, the devils, all those
Art
demons and
thou
stuff.
come hither to torment us before the time?
So they even know about the time of,
Okay.
the second coming.
Is it because they're possessed?
No, just, I guess, no, I think
Is
it's
this the devil talking?
yeah, it's the devil,
Okay.
the demons talking.
Okay. And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feet. Okay, so on the side, there's a bunch of
Pigs.
pigs just eating. I'm
Yeah.
assuming at a farm. They're not
Grazing.
wild pigs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's, they're kept because at 33 they said, and they that kept them fled. So those
Okay.
are like the swine herders, whatever.
You know, swine feet. So the devils besought him, saying, "If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of the swine." Okay, so the devil's like, okay, I know you're about to cast me out. And if you are to do that, then suffer us go away the herd of...
Allow us to go into the herd of the swine.
So they want to possess the pigs. Why?
She had a good explanation on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
您叫哪
31。
31。为什么这群猪要，这群鬼说要到一群猪里面去，对不对？他是这样讲哈，鬼是灵界的东西嘛，你看不到的，我碰到过，你看不到这个灵界的鬼，对吧？但是呢，这些灵界的鬼很想去到人的，就是有血有肉的那些东西上面，或者是人，或者是猪，或者是动物。那么，但是这些鬼呢，就使得这一群猪就发疯一样的跳到水里面去淹死。
You're jumping ahead.
你说的是什么？
为什么 devil 要 possess 这些猪？
因为他们要找一个宿主，他们要找一个宿主。很多灵界的鬼会找人，你有没有看到人跪被鬼附了？人被鬼附了。
On the internet.
在 internet 上你看到，实际的人你看到过没有？
Not in person.
我有看到过，他们的样子很可怕的，他们的眼睛跟我们正常人的眼睛不一样，而且当牧师在台上，我看到有这样赶鬼的聚会，教会里面有赶鬼的聚会，对，
你看过？
我看过。
在哪里？
在洛杉矶啊，很多地方有
Really?
医病有医病赶鬼的聚会。
Okay.
我们
So
就有去。
Irene is saying there are.
Yeah, I saw it.
First of all, she's seeing
Conference.
people possessed by the devil, and she's been a part of exorcisms here in LA.
在沃纳有一个爱修园，他们经常请一些美国人律师来赶鬼，医病赶鬼。你知道我看到的，他们那些
Okay. Next time, if there's such thing, I want to go.
现在大概因为疫情大概没有了，
Okay.
以前都有，我带很多人去过。
Okay, so she's like less so nowadays because of pandemic. So I guess the devil is afraid of catching coronavirus too.
我经常带人去，因为病会当场就得医治了嘛。但有的就是有鬼就赶出去了。那个鬼哈，他是要找一个宿主，你知道什么叫宿主吗？
Host.
找一个 就是他可以待的地方。
host.
那么他待的地方是什么呢？是有血有肉的人。host， 对，那么这些猪，它不想也，它想要在猪身上，因为从人的身上赶出来以后，它还是要找一个 host， 所以他就央求耶稣，让我们到猪群里面去。所以这一群猪就发了疯，全部冲到海里去了。
OK，
能够
下次有 exorcism， 我想要去。
但是很要小心。
OK，
倘若你没有防备你自己哈，那些会跑到你身上来。
OK，
这个就要很小心。所以我带别人去，我也是很小心。
OK
我们在去之前
Would you be
大家一起
interested?
祷告。
I don't know.
Yeah, I many
She's
times.
saying,
Yeah,
you know, you should be careful.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Should be careful, very
Yeah,
careful.
definitely.
Yeah, I bring some
Is it?
sisters.
Want to witness an exorcism?
Probably YouTube it.
Yeah, I mean, we can YouTube it. But, you know, she.
Yeah, 那我们有去。我们
你有机会，我想去看看。
好啊，
Yeah.
可以啊。
All right.
那些被有鬼附的、被赶出来的哈，你知道吗？他们本来是整个脸整个扭曲的，女人会发男人的声音出来，不是他在讲话，一个声音不一样的，是一个男人的声
She's
音。
saying if female's possessed, then a male voice comes out, like in the movies.
Yeah. 等到那个鬼赶出来，他就变回他女人的声音。
And who knows? Maybe if I see it, I might start believing, right?
然后他们会吐很多东西出来，然后会打滚，然后有的是力气
Sounds
非
like me
常
when
大
I'm。drunk. She's saying like, oh, they'll like vomit and like
然后他
crash
们
down the
的
floor.
very powerful，
Yeah.
他们非常有那个力气很大，你几个人你都抓不住他的，几个人都抓不住。等到那个鬼赶出去以后，他人整个就安静了。
Okay.
原来有这种事
I
情。
love to see it in my whole life.
No, it's very terrible. It's
Life is full of terrible things. I like to see the beauty and the ugly. All right. So Jesus says, go. Right? He's being nice to these demons. And when they came out, they went to the herd of swine. Now I'm wondering, see, I overthink things. I'm wondering what are the rules for demonic possessions, right? Because there's two demons.
Well, supposedly there was actually a lot more. Because in
Okay.
the parallel gospels state that it's weird though, because in the other two gospels, synoptic gospels, like they only mention one person, whereas in this one they mention two people. But that one person, when Jesus asked what was the name of the demon, he replied Legion, because there's many of us. So,
Okay.
yeah.
One time I do when at church I study a class. The class is a special class. It's a 一笔赶鬼，就是怎么赶鬼，而且老师就牧师在上面讲。我们是一群学生坐在教室里面，大概20-30个学生吧。他就讲，开始要讲鬼了。但是他说，我们先要做一个祷告，一个非常特别的祷告，就是用耶稣基督的宝血整个洁净，保护我们这个课堂里面的每一个学生。因为当他讲的时候，在灵界他们就有反应，你知道吗？我眼睛看不见的，但是灵界有反应。所以我们既然这样讲，我刚才就在里面就祷告，耶稣基督的宝血要遮盖你这个家。
Okay.
耶稣基督宝血要洁净，要遮盖，耶稣要与你同在，洁净这个家。所以不能够，当时老师就说，好，我们祷告了以后再讲，很阴森森的。其实我自己碰到过，我有一次我在家里，我住在 Lakewood，我碰到过一次， 那天夏天天很热，我在写那个星期天要教成人主日学的课程，那时候我没有电脑，我还用手写的，我就在写。天非常热，我舍不得开空调，就在雷口的，班还没有回家。那我很热，但是我还是在写。突然，我的那个空调开关是在走廊里，我和半日一个房间，一个客厅，一个厨房，我们住的是apartment，就突然那个空调咣一直响了，我那个空调很老，就一响，咣一直响了有说，哎，带回来了，有空调了吗？那我就在想说，哦，还没有到晚上，就是没有太晚，就省一点电，不要开嘛。但是它就在很响的声音，那个空调开起来了。我以为伴回来了，我就跑出房门，我找他，我说Ben回来了吗？没有人，根本没有人，客厅、厨房灯都是暗的，只有我一个房间有亮。我就知道Ben没有回来，那个东西开了我的冷气。
Why?
Yeah， 他不喜欢我教这个主日学，因为我教这个主日学讲到圣灵，他不喜欢，他要让我害怕。
So Irene was telling the story how just one time she lived alone and she was writing some.
At the Lakewood apartment.
Yeah, like she's preparing materials for her Christian class, and
So
all of a
this
sudden, like the
Sunday
AC came on, and she's like, "Oh, Ben must be home." And she goes out, and Ben's not home. So she believes that the devil or demons, possess and fuck with the thermostat.
他就是要来搅扰我，使我害怕，写不下去。
To instill fear.
And I
And
know.
to waste their electricity bills.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it's-
know it's him. I just he won't let me very scared, and I can prepare. I can finish my the prepared speech. But I just say, 奉耶稣基督的名出去，奉耶稣基督的名你出去。For Jesus Christ's name,
In the name
I say to
of
the
God.
go, you go. For yes, Jesus Christ's name, you go. And suddenly the air condition done. I didn't open it. I didn't turn off it. Yeah, totally very quiet. So I studied. I continue read the Bible and just prepare my class.
Yeah, this is the Mark one from 8.
So the come out, man, thou unclean spirit. He asked him, "Why is it thy name?" He answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many."
You must see like they're talking about the same thing because like
We
it's
besought him
another
so
person.
much not to send out officials. Sons or sons. Okay. All right, so that makes more sense because this starts with two demons,
Yeah.
and then this is there was two possessed. So you would naturally, logically, you think one demon possessed
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah.
So I guess originally I was like, what are the rules for demon possession? Is it like one demon can possess one person, but if it's a pig, then he can possess 5. If it's a
Right.
bird, he can do 10.
Right. The size, right?
Right? I don't know. It's like,
Size of the
what
host.
are the rules for possessions? Okay. Okay, so he went on to herd swine. We don't know how many. How many is considered herd? At least 3, right? 3
I
or
would say,
more.
yeah, but yeah, I'm exactly.
At least 3, I think. Behold, a whole herd of swine went bounding down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters. Why would they do that?
That's what we're trying to figure out because like they wanted to have a host yet they killed the host. One of them.
Maybe I kind of makes sense. Like, okay, well, we want to find a human host, but since Jesus is taking us out of these two, we're gonna kill on the pigs until another human comes in.
Yeah.
But they just want to.
They just destroy it. I mean, one of the explanations why they did that is because, like, you know, this is their nature just to be, like, you know, just violent and evil.
And
stuff
one of
like
the two humans they possessed earlier, one of them run them off the cliff too.
yeah, see, that's the thing
Right.
that I don't quite get to. It's like, there goes your host.
Right. So
Yeah,
what
so-
happens to the demon spirits after the pig drowned in the water? Are they liberated, free to possess somebody else, or
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard as well.
I'm overthinking this a bit much.
No, I mean, no, I mean, this came up last week too.
Yeah.
We were wondering, like, well, what happens now?
When they kept them, and they that kept them fled and went their way into the city. Oh, they that kept them fled.
Yeah.
What?
They that kept the herd of swine fled
Like the owners.
Okay.
because they're
Like,
like,
why fled? Fled means flee.
yeah, because they fled into the whole city, told everybody in the city, and the city came out and, you know,
What was
begged
the
Jesus to leave because they were scared.
Behold, so Jesus came out with Jesus and he saw him, that besought him that he would depart out of their coast. That doesn't say. So Jesus gets to this place. Two humans are possessed. Jesus kicked out the devils, and the devil goes in the pig. And a bunch of kids commit suicide by jumping off a cliff. And the owner sees this, runs to the city, tell everybody about this, and the whole city comes out and says, Jesus, get out of here. Right?
Basically. I think it's because they were just
Okay,
scared.
well, I can see why he's mad at him because the dude just lost all his herd of pigs.
Yeah.
Right? What do they keep pigs for? They don't eat them, they're Jewish, right?
No, they were in the land of the Gentiles.
Oh,
Or I guess, yeah,
okay.
because they were on that side.
Okay.
They weren't on the western side of the Sea of Galilee, which would have been the
Okay.
Jews and
So
stuff.
these are his foods, his livelihoods. He's a
Kinda,
pig
yeah.
farmer.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are mad at Jesus because they hold him responsible for killing his herd of pigs.
They're either-
Yes.
They could have been mad or even scared, you know, that he would do it again. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were mad as well. Because,
Okay, so
you know, but-
so let's rewind back a little bit, right? So the devil's possessed, and then they see Jesus coming. They recognize him. It's like, oh, we're about to get cast out. Hey, if you cast us out, put us into those pigs, and then like, he says, go.
Yeah.
What are Jesus' options? What if Jesus says no?
Yeah, see, I mean, that's well, I mean, he
Right?
there's like 99, you know, almost 100% chance that he wouldn't have not said no because he's trying to always help man, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, what if he says no? You know what? Can't stay in these humans. Can't stay in those pigs either.
Okay, like that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's another thing, you know, that makes me think about like some of these other times where, you know, he was casting out devils as we saw in a few verses before. Where did they go when he did that? You know, this is the only time where like we see it transfer.
transfer
Yeah,
of-
yeah. Transfer of hosts.
Okay.
But yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's right. They've never talked
These
about.
are, and I'm sure there's no rules of possession mentioned in Old Testament either, right?
No, there's no rules in
Okay, well, eight's kind of a funny chapter. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go through Mark and Luke, we'll be reading about these again.
Yeah. All right, well, that's 8. We will just do one today?
Just one.
Yeah?
So that way, because we don't want to
Okay.
leave CK by himself for too long.
All right, all right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully everyone is safe and celebrating with their mother. And if you're not with your mothers, give them a call and wish them Happy Mother's Day. You know, we are here today at my house, actually, with Irene. You know, in so many ways, Irene is kind of like gradually kind of become like a mother to me, Jason, and Mike. You know, especially they live under the same roof, and you know, she's cooked plenty of delicious meal for us. So thank you, and on behalf of Ben, happy Mother's Day. And the reason why we're here is because I have a A5 Wagyu today that I'm gonna cook for Irene, Jason, and Mike in celebration. And this stuff, you gotta eat it right away. You can't just carry it to go with you. So, hopefully it'll turn out good, and Irene will have a memorable culinary experience. And wrap up with the prayer, Mike.
Heavenly Father, thank you for these words that you have given us so that we may understand your will more and more every day as we go through them. Thank you for everybody here, for Irene, for being our moms as well. Please bless her in everything. She deserves so much good and that you have provided for her. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Bye, everybody. Until next week.